joyful ring of carolling. Ding dong, ding, ding. On how they sing, on without end, their joyful tone to every home.
Ding dong, ding dong.
Good evening, and welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Hobart's annual Vespers, Christmas Eve Vespers service. Done a little differently this year because we're coming to you from our living room and not from to your living room, from our living room and not from the church. We're trying to keep some of the traditions alive, though. I hope you enjoyed the Carol of the Bells by our choir. It usually signals the start of the season for me, start of the holiday. So welcome. And I would like to remind you, if you have an opportunity to grab a candle to light later during the final hymn, that's great. We'll have opportunities for you to do that during the singing, during the music, during the service. So at this time, I'd like to direct your attention to the lighting of the chalice, which today will be the lighting of this candle beside me, which my dear friend Emma Porter will be lighting. As I read these words, these are not our typical words of the lighting of the chalice. They're by Melanie Davis, and it's called A Spark of Hope. If ever there were a time for a candle in the darkness, this would be it. Using a spark of hope, kindle the flame of love, ignite the light of peace, and feed the flame of justice. Now will you join us in singing Belted Out from Your Home, O Come All Ye Faithful.
Let it triumph,
came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And Joseph also went up from Galilee unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child. And so it was that while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered. And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn.
They told me that when Jesus was born, a star appeared in the heavens, above the place where the young child lay. When I was very young, I had no trouble believing wondrous things. I believed in the star. It was a wondrous miracle, part of a long ago story foretelling an uncommon life. They told me a supernova appeared in the heavens in its dying burst of fire. When I was older and believed in science and reason, I believed the story of the star explained. But I found I was unwilling to give up the star, fitting symbol for the birth of one whose uncommon life has been long remembered. The star explained became the star understood for Jesus, for Buddha, for Zarathustra. Why not a star? Some bright star shines somewhere in the heavens each time a child is born. Who knows what it may foretell? Who knows what uncommon life may yet again unfold, if we but give it a chance.
Good Christian friends, rejoice with heart and soul and voice. Give ye heed to what we say. News, news, Jesus Christ is born today. Ox and ass before him bow, and he is in the manger now. Christ is born today. Christ is born today. Good Christian friends, rejoice with heart and soul and voice. Give ye heed to what we say. News, news, Jesus Christ is born today. Ox and ass before him bow, and he is in the manger now. Christ was born today. Christ was born today.
God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day, to save us all from woe and sin when we were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
In Bethlehem in Jewry his blessed babe was born, and laid within a manger upon that holy morn. The which his mother Mary did nothing take in scorn. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. Christian friends, rejoice with heart and soul and voice. Now we hear in this place, joy, joy. Jesus Christ was born for this. He had opened the heavenly door, and in his hands the heaven born. Christ was born for this. 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 Come ye lofty, come ye lowly, let your songs of gladness ring. In the stable lies the holy, in a manger rests the King. Sing in Mary's arms reposing, Christ our highest and adored. Come your circle round him closing, for his heart's at love alone. Christ was born for this. Christ was born for
sing praises, all you within this place. And with true love and brotherly joy and embrace, His loving tidings of
Good Christian friends, rejoice with heart and soul and voice. Now ye heed not here the grave. Peace, peace, Jesus Christ was born to save. Calls you one and calls you all to gain his everlasting hope.
Christ was born to save.
Christ was born to save.
is In This Night by Dorothy Soul. In this night, the stars left their habitual places.
And kindled wildfire, tiding that spread faster than sound.
In this night, the shepherds left their posts.
To shout the new slogans into each other's clogged ears.
In this night, the foxes left their warm burrows.
And the lion spoke with deliberation.
This is the end revolution. In this night, roses fooled the earth.
And began to bloom in the snow.
When blossoms flowered mid the snows upon a winter night, 'twas born the child, the Christmas rose, the King of love and light. The angels sang, the shepherds sang, the grateful earth rejoiced, and at his blessed birth the stars their exultation voiced. O Again the heart with rapture glows to greet the holy night that gave the world its Christmas rose, its King of love and light. Let every voice acclaim his name, the grateful chorus swell. From paradise to earth he came, that we with him might dwell. O come, let us adore him. Know him, Christ the Lord. Oh, come, let us adore him. Let us Christ the Lord.
Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. While shepherds kept their watching over silent flocks by night, behold, throughout the heavens shone the holy light. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. The shepherds feared and trembled, and lo, above the earth rang out the angel chorus that hailed the baby's birth. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Down in the lowly manger, the humble babe was born, and God sent us salvation, the blessed Christian morn. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born.
This is to Jesus on his birthday. For this your mother sweated in the cold, for this you bled upon the bitter tree. A yard of tinsel ribbon bought and sold, a paper wreath, a day at home for me. The merry bells ring out, the people kneel. Up goes the preacher before the crowd, with voice of honey and with eyes of steels, droning your humble gospel to the proud. Nobody listens. Less than the wind that blows are all your words to us you died to save. O Prince of Peace, O Sharon's dewy rose, how mute you lie within your vaulted grave. The stone that the angel rolled away with tears is back upon your mouth these 1,000 years. And that was by Edna St. Vincent Millay.
Thank you. There is a new song, a new pop song that is my new favorite. It's called It Ain't Christmas Till Somebody Cries. In our family, it's not Christmas Eve Vespers till Mama cries. So with that in mind, I've got my tissue in hand, listening to the choir, listening to Nolan play so beautifully. And of course, Lilia and Stephanie and all my beautiful daughters, just brings me back to how much we've lost this year. And that is, forgive me, and that is the meaning of my homily. Boy, I didn't expect this, so pardon me. I'm going to do my best. But like I said, if Mama ain't crying, it ain't Christmas Eve Vespers. The story of Jesus' birth is one we all know so well. Of the forced travel of a poor family, a very pregnant woman, her husband, and an arrival at a destination that had no room for them. And yet the child was born, and the angels sang, and the shepherds guarded, and the wise men brought oils to anoint the newborn king. And I know this is the story we are meant to celebrate during the Christmas season. But this year in particular, I can't help thinking about how the story ends. Not in a manger, but on a cross and in a cave. Yes, this is the Christmas Eve service, and I am talking Easter themes. This year has been so hard on us. Betrayal by our government, whose ultimate goal is to keep its citizens safe. And maybe the worst part of this irrational national response to our pandemic has been the lack of acknowledgement of the overwhelming loss and grief we are all wandering about this Christmas season, experience various levels of grief over the loss of loved ones, of opportunities to be with loved ones, of support of each other in very tangible ways, such as blending voices in our sacred space to sing out the joy of the birth of a child. All of the readings today have been from the back of our gray hymnal. The piece by Edna St. Vincent Millay that Audrey just read to you is one I never would have picked in any other year. But this year it spoke to me. It spoke to me and reminded me pardon me. I may need a help here. Forgive me, I'll keep going. It reminded me that we are not celebrating just any birth this year, but the birth of the person supposed to have brought the end revolution. Boy, I'm a mess. It has been a hard year, hasn't it? I'm going to pull myself together, and maybe I'll just end it in the middle of this. But the birth of the person supposed to have brought the end revolution. And yet here we are, stone rolled over the mouth of the Prince of Peace. So it seems to me this is the year to acknowledge what happens between Jesus's birth and his death. The building, the singing, the dancing, the healing, and the revolution. This year has laid bare the hypocrisy of our nation, the false notion that we are free. And we see the abuse of power going unchecked in police departments, the Senate, and the White House. We see now who gets preferential treatment, and it is not the poor, whose members grow daily from the botched response by this outgoing administration. And we see those who say they follow words of Jesus, the word of Jesus and of God, stand by their false prophet and prop him up to keep him appeased and in power. My friends, let us celebrate the birth of Jesus and of his gospel. But let's not forget about flipping tables. Let us not forget that the birth was the beginning of a revolution that never ended. Because the powerful will do whatever they can to retain power, even corrupt the gospel of a babe who grew up, worked hard, and loved the lepers and the low, whose body of work was for the least of these. We seek peace and justice and joy in the celebration of the birth of Jesus, but let us also seek meaning and purpose. Let us remember that joy is not outside of us, neither is peace, but justice must be. Our hands, heads, and hearts need to work for justice for those with little or no power, just as Jesus, the man, did in his time. Our despair, my despair on display, is not unwarranted, but neither is our joy. Let us remember that despair and joy do not dwell in separate houses in our hearts, but together, entwined. Let us sing for peace and justice while we fight for those with joy and determination. Let us move forward, figuratively and from our own houses, to remind each other that we are loved and we are needed, and we are all capable of flipping the tables toward justice. So now, let me leave the camera, wipe my eyes, and we can all sing out our joy, even with the shadow of mourning draped around us. Thank you, and Merry Christmas.
Let every heart prepare
My pleasure to read the last reading of the night. This is from Mary Rogers, adapted from the Gaelic. Deep peace of the running wave to you, of water flowing, rising, and falling, sometimes advancing, sometimes receding. May the stream of your life flow unimpeded. Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you, which fans your face on a sultry day. The air with which you breathe deeply, rhythmically, which imparts to you energy, consciousness, life. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you, who, herself unmoving, harbors the movements and facilitates the life of the 10,000 creatures, while resting contented, stable, tranquil. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you, which stay invisible till darkness falls and discloses their pure and shining presence, beaming down in compassion on our turning world. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. Deep peace of the watching shepherds to you, of unpretentious folk who, watching and waiting, spend long hours out on the hillside, expecting in simplicity some coming of the Lord. Deep peace of the watching shepherds to you. Deep peace of the Son of Peace to you, who swift as the wave and pervasive as the air, quiet as the earth and shining like a star, breathes into us his peace and his spirit. Deep peace of the Son of Peace to you. Now is a time that we ask that you all light a candle if you can, and darken your room if you can, and join us as we close with our traditional singing of Silent Night. Sing loudly, sing proudly, sing with love, and hopefully with peace and joy in your heart.